So, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you might have noticed that I went a bit quiet recently. No new episodes for over a month, and honestly, I owe you an explanation because it's actually a really good story. I didn't disappear because I got lazy or ran out of things to talk about. I disappeared because I was doing something completely different to progress my French, something I've never done before, and today I want to tell you all about it. But before I get into that, I want to give you a bit of context, because if you're new here, you need to know who I am and how I've been learning French up until now, because that's what makes this story interesting. Hey, welcome back to Rachel Institut Français. So a little bit about me. I'm very much not a full-time language student. I work in a school here in the UK, teaching Mandarin to primary school kids. I have a family, a multilingual child, a side hustle selling Mandarin resources, and on top of that, I run this podcast and a YouTube channel all about French language and culture. So yeah, life is full, time is precious. And fitting French learning into all of that, it takes creativity. I also live in England where, let's be real, there's zero immersive French environment around me. Funny enough, I have friends from all over Europe, but not a single one from France. The only French speaker in my life is a colleague from North Africa, and honestly, I pester her to constantly to speak French with me. She's very patient. So given all those constraints, what have I actually been doing to learn French? Well, in a nutshell, I've turned French into tiny daily habits instead of long study sessions. I changed my phone interface to French, so I'm forced to read it every day. I listen to French podcasts while I cook, and I watch French YouTubers and Instagram reels when I'm scrolling my phone. And one of my absolute favorite things, I film myself speaking French like I'm journaling my day, and share it with my French-speaking friends. Honestly, just 5 to 10 minutes of that day has done more for my speaking confidence than almost anything else. I also have a private French tutor, 1 hour a week online, and that's been a huge part of my progress too. So that's how I went from A1 to A2 bit by bit, no formal classes, no language school, no sitting in a classroom every week, just consistent. Small doses of French woven into my everyday life, which is why I'm about to tell you it's a pretty big shift. It all started with a silly little question I asked my French tutor during one of our lessons. So we were basically chatting about boulangeries, as you do, specifically which one were the best in London or near where we both live, because we kind of like living in the same county, and this is a very important topic. And then out of curiosity, I asked her, is there any town or city in the UK that feels the most French to you? Because I once visited Canterbury for a day trip and heard loads of people speaking French, spotted some very French-looking cafes, and I thought, maybe there's a French community there? And she said, actually, she thought South Kensington in London was probably the most French area in the UK. She mentioned there was an exclusive French library, a French cinema, and that a lot of French people genuinely live in that neighborhood. So I thought, oh, that sounds like a brilliant video idea. Let me research it. So I went and looked up South Kensington, and I found the website for Institut Français. And the moment I saw it, I had a little flashback, because that was actually where I sat my Delft A1 exam, and I recognized it immediately. So I started browsing the website more carefully, and I discovered that they offered all sorts of French language courses, and one of them completely stopped me in my tracks. It was called Saturday Express, which here's why it caught my eye. 5 consecutive weeks only, not a year-long commitment, and not even a semester, just 5 Saturdays. And they had different levels, so I could actually join something suited to where I was. There were even an assessment I could take beforehand to make sure I was in the right group. And if you are curious about how that assessment actually went, what it felt like, what they tested, I filmed the whole experience and share it on my YouTube channel. The link is in the episode description, so go check that after this one. And the price, really reasonable, like genuinely surprised me. I hadn't managed to travel to France at all the year before, so I thought, what if I could get a little slide of French immersion right here in London? Every Saturday from 9:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon, surrounded by French language, French people, French energy. So honestly, without overthinking it, I just enrolled. Done and no hesitation. Now, the first day, oh my goodness. I was nervous in a way I genuinely did not expect. I felt like I was on my way to an exam, which, to be fair, my brain had good reason to think because the last time I was at Institut Français, I was sitting an exam, so that memories was deeply embedded. I left home at 7:30 in the morning. I got on a fast train about 35 minutes into London, then hopped on the underground for another 20 minutes. For someone who usually either works from home or drive 5 minutes to school, that commute alone was the whole experience. And on the train, I sat there revising my French notes, grammars, vocabularies, conjugations, like a student cramming before a test. I'm laughing at myself a little now, but honestly, that was me. When I arrived, though, I really loved the environment. The classroom was bright and spacious. There were morning and afternoon breaks, and 15 minutes each. I used those to go for walks around South Kensington, exploring the campus, or grab another coffee with classmates. If you want to actually see what the campus and the classroom look like, I've got footage of it all on my YouTube channel. It really is a beautiful part of London, and the link is in the description. Oh, and on the very first day, the professor actually didn't show up until the afternoon because of a communication mix-up, which is obviously not ideal, but it was clearly rare. So they arranged a makeup online lesson in the evening to compensate, which was a nice touch, to be honest. And after that first full day, I tried to journal everything I experienced in French, just to process it, to practice, to capture the moment. And I actually recorded a French journal entry on video too. So it's on my YouTube channel again, and if you want to test yourself and see how much you can understand, very much in the spirit of what I've already been doing with my daily speaking practice. Okay, so let me be honest with you, because that's kind of the whole point of this podcast, right? Real talk and no filter. So there were things that were harder than I expected about group learning. First is the language school. So what you can expect: traditional methods, textbook, homework, a set pace for everyone. So you don't get to choose your teacher, you get whoever you get, and you hope they are great. Second, in a group, you're always balancing your own needs with everyone else's. So if you are naturally more talkative or confident, you can start to feel like you are dominating. And if you are stuck on a concept and need to ask the same question 3 times maybe, you feel guilty about holding everyone back. In my private lessons, I can dig into something until I fully get it. But in a group, you kind of have to let it go or figure it out later. Usually I'll do it with AI or quick Google after class. Third, and this was the big one for me, 5 consecutive long Saturdays is generally exhausting. By Sunday, I had nothing left. I couldn't film, couldn't record podcasts, and couldn't work on my Mandarin resources. I basically just rested, which is why you didn't hear from me for a while. So yeah, if you are considering it, just know it takes it out of you. But here's the thing, and this is important, the good stuff really was good. When you've been learning alone for years like I have, you genuinely don't know where you stand. I took my Delphi A1 exam just to give myself a benchmark, not because I needed a certificate for anything, just so I could say, okay, this is where I am. Being in the classroom with other learners at a similar level gave me a whole new kind of self-awareness. We were all roughly A2, but we all had completely different strengths and weaknesses. And I learned something really interesting about myself. My speaking, actually pretty solid. Confident, willing to make mistakes, decent lessons. I think that's because of years of filming myself speaking French and having lessons where my tutor lets me talk a lot. That practice really paid off. But my listening, that's my weak spot. When the professor spoke at natural speed, I struggled. I catch maybe half of it, piece together the rest from context and just about keep up, but during listening exercise, I often couldn't contribute answers with confidence. And that was actually the most valuable thing I got from the course, not just the French itself, but knowing exactly what to work on next. My classmates and the professors all gave me recommendations for resources to improve my listening skills. That kind of peer exchange is something you just can't replicate when you're learning alone. Also, the community, meeting people who are just as obsessed with French as you are, swapping tips, sharing resources, encouraging each other, that energy was unexpected and honestly quite special. So if you ask me, would I do it again? Yes, absolutely yes, but this is key, not back to back. I actually noticed that some of my classmates had a really smart approach. They take one course, then take a month off to absorb and revise what they've learned, then come back for the next level up, then pause again. That rhythm makes so much sense to me now. As adult learners, we can't just power through on willpower alone. We need rest, we need reflection time, and we need to let things settle. So my plan is to take it in stages. Use the time between courses to consolidate and don't burn out trying to rush to fluency. That to me is the definition of sustainable language learning. Oh, and one more thing I didn't expect. When you complete a course at Institut Français, you automatically get 1 year membership to the institute, which means access to their French cinema, their library, or the community events. I'm so excited to explore all of that, and I'll be telling you all about this in a future episode. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Before I go, if you're listening to this, you're probably someone like me, a French learner, a Francophile, someone who genuinely loves the language and the culture. And if that's you, chances are our vision of French life overlaps in some way. So I want to give you something. I created a French vision board for myself earlier, and I'm sharing it for free with you. It comes in both desktop and mobile versions, so you can actually use it as your wallpaper and keep that French dream front of mind every single day. The download link is in the episode description, so go grab it. It's completely free. If today's episode resonated with you, if you are a busy adult learner trying to figure out how to make French or any other language actually fit into your real life, I'd love to hear from you. Come find me on Instagram or YouTube and let me know what's your biggest challenge right now. Speaking, listening, finding the time. And if you've been enjoying this episode, leaving a review honestly makes the world. It helps other French learners find us. A bientôt, and I'll speak to you in the next one.